Stand by.
K-State hosted a realistic active shooter course on campus to prepare emergency responders for real-life situations.
African culture is being celebrated on campus. Stay tuned to see how.
And the superfruit just got wheels. All this and much more coming up on Channel 8 News.
KKSU-LD, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Welcome to Channel 8 News. Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Jacob Valdez.
And I'm Grant Flanders. Last Friday, Memorial Stadium finally received its formal dedication to the 48 fallen K-Staters who gave their lives in World War I. Channel 8 reporter Evan Penner has more.
It was a solemn yet proud moment on Friday afternoon as many people gathered together to remember the 48 Kansas State Agricultural College students who fought and died in World War I. Manhattan residents, veterans, K-Staters, and direct descendants were in attendance. The ceremony? A final dedication of Memorial Stadium in these soldiers' honor. The stage was lined with military leaders such as Brigadier General Pat Frank, Lieutenant General Perry Wiggins, and retired Colonel Mike McDermott, one of the most highly decorated living veterans today. Voice of the Wildcats, Dave Lewis, performed the duty of Master of Ceremonies, and K-State President General Richard Myers gave the opening remarks.
Today we do assemble to complete a project that was started in 1923, never finished because of the Great Depression, and to memorialize the lives of 48 Kansas State Agricultural College students lost in service during World War I.
Not so long ago, these students were remembered only by a plaque on one of the stadium walls. A plaque that Jed Dunham came across as he visited his alma mater one weekend for a reunion. Jed became fascinated by the names when he couldn't seem to find out any information about them.
And nothing was there. And this did not sit well with me. And thus began an odyssey to find out who these individuals were.
But as he slowly began to find out about each name on this plaque, Jed never could have prepared himself for what he would find.
And as I pulled the string and unraveled what became a long journey down the rabbit hole, the stories of the 48 fallen emerged. And they were fascinating, and they were beautiful, and they were sad, and they were horrific, and they were unbelievably American.
And now, after almost a century since the inception of Memorial Stadium, the families of the 48 fallen can rest easy, knowing that their loved ones will never be forgotten. In Manhattan, I'm Evan Penner, Channel 8 News.
The plaques containing the names of the fallen soldiers can be found at the south end of each seating section of World War I Memorial Stadium.
There's always new things happening on K-State's campus, and this past week was a first for what's hopefully a new annual event. Channel 8 News reporter Maya Hodge has more.
This past week, K-State held its very first Green Week on campus. Green Week is a student-led initiative to celebrate and educate the campus on the benefits of sustainability. Starting on Earth Day, Green Week has been holding several events on campus, from a green activities fair to a pop-up thrift shop. In partnership with Green Apple Bikes and Pathfinder, Green Week also featured a Ride to Campus Day where they set up shop for students to bring their bikes for tune-ups. Being that this is the first year Green Week has been part of K-State, founder Morgan Hemist hope it will continue once she graduates.
Really hoping that it'll stick around after I graduate, just to cultivate environmental education on campus and bring everybody together.
During Green Week, students are encouraged to participate in activities that will help sustain the earth. Don't pitch it, recycle it.
There's so many groups that are active in green activities, and so getting them to work together on campus to produce a good week and then highlight what we are doing already.
Green Week isn't over yet. Tonight, there will be a Living Green seminar on sustainable energy and water practices at 6 p.m. in Justin Hall, and ending tomorrow with a grassroots festival on Kramer Lawn at 7 p.m. where everyone can enjoy food, music, yard games, and a free movie on the lawn. In Manhattan, I'm Maya Hodge, Channel 8 News.
I wasn't aware of all the great things you could do to help sustain the earth. Jacob, do you ever recycle here on campus?
I do when I can. Back home, my roommates and I actually recycle all the time.
K-State Air Force Reserve Officers Training Corps took part in a unique training session last week. Here on Channel 8, here's Channel 8 reporter Pat White with more on Detachment 270's active shooter training.
Last Thursday afternoon, K-State's Air Force ROTC program held its first active shooter training course at the General Richard Myers Hall. They took the training course along with campus police, Manhattan Fire Department, and EMTs.
So starting last year in 2016, based on events across the nation, Air Force ROTC, the headquarters, put out policy that cadets and cadre will do that they will do semester training.
Even though it's just a simulation, everyone involved wants them to try and make it as realistic as possible. Simulated gunfire and injuries.
There we have cadets that are moulages, so they have makeup on and they're acting as casualties during the scenario.
Training is also particularly timely considering the different things that we're hearing about in media that are happening all across the world. Essentially, active shooter is something that unfortunately we're hearing about more and more. So we feel particularly fortunate that we're able to offer this type of training for our cadets because they are actually getting to react and respond in ways that we just can't simulate in a classroom just by talking about it. So we feel like it's important, and we also feel like it was particularly fortunate that we were able to coordinate with K-State PD because they also had a need for this type of training.
Plans are in the making for this event to become an annual activity and to gradually include more K-State students in more safety courses. On the K-State campus, this is Pat White for Channel 8 News.
This past Friday, the African Student Union's annual African Festival took place in the K-State Student Union Ballroom. Channel 8 reporter Darielle Nixon has more.
Each year, the African Student Union holds African Night at Kansas State University to promote diversity in the community and inform on African culture. Representatives from many different African countries promoted their culture through activities including multiple dances, poetry and acting, speeches, and even a fashion show.
And we decided to dedicate one day in a year where we educate the campus about Africa and also help promote diversity on campuses as well.
The African Festival celebrates culture and promotes inclusiveness through fashion, poetry, and dance, and also takes time to inform on serious global issues facing the developing world.
Through all of the fun, African Night also takes the time to educate on serious global issues. The night also featured a powerful speech from the keynote speaker Honorata Matal over land and resources being stolen in the developing world.
African Student Union grew quickly to be like a community association where we have not only students but also faculties and also just regular people on the community could join this event today, because that's kind of one of the main moments where we gather together as African. We don't have that much opportunity quite often. So yeah, it was great to have all of them. I meet many new faces today that I would have not get a chance to do if it was not because of this event.
The fact that K-State has this diversity of African on campus is definitely a plus, because then we have, I think, it gives a chance for whoever lives in Manhattan, and particularly people like K-State, to be able to see a little bit from Rwanda, a little bit from Tanzania, from Zambia, and Cameroon, Senegal, and so on.
People of all different ages, ethnic groups, and cultural backgrounds came out to enjoy African Night and left more informed on Africa's diverse culture. In Manhattan, I'm Dario Nixon, Channel 8 News.
The African Festival is an annual event, and the African Student Union invites everyone who couldn't participate to come out and enjoy next year.
Coming up next, see how Green Apple Bikes is celebrating Green Week.
Also, stay tuned for an in-studio interview with one of the Take Back Our Lives rally organizers.
Land Grant University, entrusted with serving the needs of our communities and world through the nation's most important research and testing. We don't cater to what's popular. We come together to find out what's next, what will save lives and better the world. Since 1863, our values haven't changed, but our methods have. What defines a land-grant university? Community, progress, you.
I know a spot that I love full well.
'Tis not in forest, nor yet in dell. Ever it holds me with magic spell.
I think of thee, alma mater.
We'll carry thy banner high. Long, long, may thy colors fly.
Loyal to thee, thy children will swell the cry. Hail, 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 alma mater.
In promotion of Green Week, Green Apple Bikes was on campus partnering with local bike mechanics to fix bikes for free. Green Apple Bikes is a public transportation service available here in Manhattan. The bikes are placed at racks throughout the Manhattan area and can be used by anyone. Campus president of Green Apple Bikes, Anna Grother, hopes that the program will be used by students as a healthy alternative to driving.
We are presenting Green Apple Bikes as a green transportation. Carbon emissions are a big thing that are creating a hole in the ozone layers. Plus, it's so easy to get around on a bike, safer for them to ride their bikes around, and it's quicker to get around on campus if you have your bike with you, and it's a healthy alternative to driving.
A food truck that's making its way through the U.S. serving avocados made a stop in Kansas this week. Reporter Alexis Lacey has the story.
The Avocado for Mexico food truck made a stop at K-State's campus this week to promote their Avo Active tour and share the dishes that involved avocados from Mexico. People that came to the truck were mostly avocado lovers that could not believe their eyes when they saw a food truck strictly about avocados.
It's awesome. I wish I came every day. I love avocados. I love guacamole. I love free things, so this is a perfect combination.
The food truck came to Kansas with a variety of breakfast items. Not only did they provide free avocado food items, but they also educated people on how beneficial the superfruit is.
The trend in eating habits have been changing the last few years. So Avocados from Mexico right now is creating awareness on the use of avocado in different ways other than just the typical guacamole and chips. So we're using avocado to make a breakfast, a healthy breakfast.
Avo Active Tour is all about serving a breakfast that matters, but it also combines health and flavor. The food truck also brought tons of fun with games like Giant Jenga, prizes, avocado t-shirts, and even a bike with a blender attached, which allowed people to blend their own avocado smoothies when riding it. The tour only got its start earlier this month, but have traveled to many other universities and will continue. Their next stop, the University of Missouri. In Manhattan, Kansas, I'm Alexis Lacey for Channel 8 News.
On Tuesday evening, members of the Manhattan community rallied together to participate in the Take Back Our Lives rally. The protest was meant to raise awareness for the injustices faced by oppressed groups such as Muslims, immigrants, and members of the LGBTQ community. Joining reporter Andres Rivas is the co-president of FIRE, Bree Asia Harris, who helped put together the rally.
Hi, Bree. Happy to have you here today. Can you tell the viewers what FIRE means and what it really stands for?
FIRE stands for Feminist Igniting Resistance and Empowerment. And it's basically the intersectional feminist group on campus that stands up for members of marginalized groups and people who are kind of forgotten or erased when you think of like mainstream feminism. So we kind of try to expand on that and be more inclusive with a lot of our events and everything.
Okay. And as for events, you had a rally recently. How was it? Like, what were the logistics, in planning it? How was it received? How was the rally overall?
I thought it was amazing. A lot more people showed up than we kind of expected. With the planning and everything, it was a lot of finding different organizations that want to table, or, you know, trying to make it inclusive so that it's more than just, you know, like just us basically in AMEF. We included like the LGBTQ Resource Center and Saga and the Muslim Student Association. Like, we were just trying to like expand it and make it more inclusive for people who are also going through issues right now.
Yeah, it seems like you have a lot of groups, you know, really represented there. What can students do to get involved with FIRE?
Just come to our meetings. Our meetings are Tuesdays at 8, and basically you can just contact me or Chelsea. It's on the OrgSync or just on regular K-State campus, and you can just email us to let us know that you want to be included or be a part of our listserv. So.
All right, well, thank you. It's all the time we have for today. Take it back to Jacob and Grant at the desk.
Find out how some K-State students are using an alternative form of energy.
And stay tuned for all your weekend weather, all coming up next on Channel 8 News.
Outreach is more than a goal. It's our land-grant mission. We feed and sustain an expanding population and cultivate strong, stable families, growing responsibility and leadership in our youth through a far-reaching network of research, resources, and educators. Whether you're in Kansas or across the globe, every life is worthy of an extended hand. What makes K-State Research and Extension so powerful? Purpose, outreach, you. We may take different paths, but we all move forward, preparing for our future in the same historic library. We meet friends in the bustling student union and experience the exciting atmosphere of campus events. We appreciate individual interests and shared passions. Many different paths, one distinct destination. How does campus life become life experience? Connections, involvement, you. The K-State fabric is woven with a commitment to service, a common thread of experience and expertise, research that makes ambition a reality, student opportunities that foster empowered leaders, an environment that embraces creative collaboration. We look for moments to define ourselves as trailblazers and as advocates for advancement. Why does K-State believe it can achieve a stronger tomorrow? Promise, possibility, you.
Kansas has been one of the states with the most growth in wind power and has generated more than 20% of its electricity from wind since 2015. K-State students are leading the trend. Last week, K-State Wildcat Wind Power Team won second place in the collegiate wind competition, which was held by the U.S. Department of Energy. This is also the first time the Wildcat Wind Power Team won top 3 in a national competition.
One is the teamwork, and 2 is the performance of all the electronics. And I think, and also, but this year, I guess let me throw in one extra thing, and that is, I think our mechanical team came up with a very innovative design as far as how to yaw the turbine and get higher wind flow rates through the blades.
It's been cold and rainy this past week. Do you think we'll see warmer temperatures soon?
I don't think I can tell you, Jacob, but Maya Hodge has the latest in weather.
Thank you, Grant. So it has been quite sunny out lately and warm in the past week, but moving on to this week, it will not be so warm. As we look at our national temperatures, up in Seattle is 55 degrees, very cold and rainy, but a nice warm 84 degrees down in Los Angeles. Looking over at Dallas, we have 81 degrees, very nice and warm where I would like to be right now, whereas 55 in Chicago and 81 in Atlanta. Moving on to our Kansas map. We have about 50s all around the state of Kansas. Over in Manhattan, it's going to be mostly 53, and towards Kansas City, mostly 54. Very cold, so bring out those jackets this week, guys. Looking at our Kansas radar map, it will be nice and sunny today, but moving closer towards 4 o'clock, we will see some rain coming in towards the Colorado area. And it will be very rainy, so make sure you have those ready. Looking at our 5-day forecast, we will have some cool temperatures, rain most of the time. So if you're doing anything out this week, make sure you have your umbrellas and your raincoats ready to stay dry. Thank you. That's all we have for weather. Back to you, Grant.
K-State football is finally back. Catch the Spring Game highlights coming up next.
Also, stay tuned for the latest details on the K-State women's basketball arrest.
Outreach is more than a goal. It's our land-grant mission. We feed and sustain an expanding population and cultivate strong, stable families, growing responsibility and leadership in our youth through a far-reaching network of research, resources, and educators. Whether you're in Kansas or across the globe, every life is worthy of an extended hand. What makes K-State Research and Extension so powerful? Purpose, outreach, you. We may take different paths, but we all move forward, preparing for our future in the same historic library. We meet friends in the bustling student union and experience the exciting atmosphere of campus events. We appreciate individual interests and shared passions. Many different paths, one distinct destination. How does campus life become life experience? Connections, involvement, you. The K-State fabric is woven with a commitment to service, a common thread of experience and expertise, research that makes ambition a reality, student opportunities that foster empowered leaders, an environment that embraces creative collaboration. We look for moments to define ourselves as trailblazers and as advocates for advancement. Why does K-State believe it can achieve a stronger tomorrow? Promise, possibility, you.
The K-State football team finally saw some game action for the first time since December.
Caitlin Sabbert has the latest in sports.
Thank you, Jacob. The Kansas State football team held their annual Purple and White scrimmage this past Saturday at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. The scrimmage pitted the Purple team against the White team, and despite many injuries, the scrimmage was still very competitive. The White team got off to a quick start, pulling ahead 6-0 after the first quarter. However, the rest of the scrimmage was all Purple. The Purple team scored 38 straight points to win the game 38-6. Redshirt sophomore running back Alex Barnes was one of the scrimmage's top performers. Barnes ran for 69 yards and had 2 touchdowns in limited action. The spring game was the first since December for many Wildcat fans to see the team on the field, but for many K-State fans, it's not about the score, it's about family, tradition, and progress. Channel 8's Molly Burt has more on the story.
Over 13,000 K-State fans turned up for the spring game on Saturday, taking advantage of $5 tickets and free parking to get a glimpse of next season's Wildcats. Although crowds were slightly smaller than usual, many fans stuck to their favorite K-State football tradition, tailgating. Some fans have been a part of these traditions for as long as 50 years.
We're old alums and come back to all the spring games and all the home games. I happened to play football up here in the 60s. Bob and I were up here at school together.
We came to watch the spring game, see how good we're going to be this year. So we're hearing good things, and we wanted to see it for ourselves.
Zabel and Murray weren't the only fans eager to find out how well the team plays.
Even in the off-season, there's no lack of support for the Wildcats. While the east side of the stadium is closed for construction, as you can see behind me, fans have filled in the south and west sides. Here on the sideline, over 100 former players are visiting with their families to watch the game.
With several starting players out due to injuries, including quarterback Jesse Ertz, K-Staters got a rare chance to see their backup players in action, as well as redshirts and other new faces on the line. Although head coach Bill Snyder lamented the lack of continuity, he too acknowledged it was good to give backup players more experience.
I was encouraged by the opportunity to get a lot of twos on the field. I was encouraged by the Whites, the way they played for the first 3 quarters, defensively in particular. But they had some movement on offense as well against our #1 defense.
While Snyder's concerned with building the team up even more, fans like Zabel and Murray admire how far they've already come over the past few decades.
Back in the 60s, the football team was tragic. We had an 0-10 season, 1-10 and 3-8, so that gives you an idea that we were very poor back then, and see how it's developed over the years.
Yeah, Bill's done a great job for the team and the school and the city and state as far as that goes.
The game, the stadium, and the K-State family may continue to grow and change over time, but Zabel and Murray say they are still proud to be Wildcats and glad to be here to see it all. At Bill Snyder Family Stadium, I'm Molly Burt, Channel 8 News.
The K-State football team will return to the field later this year for their game against Central Arkansas on Saturday, September 2nd. With K-State baseball's Saturday win against West Virginia came a historic honor. Head coach Brad Hill surpassed K-State's former coach Mike Clark as K-State's all-time highest winning coach. Since joining the team in 2003, Coach Hill had claimed 436 victories. The next day, he nabbed his 437th against West Virginia once more. Hill has been named to Big 12 Coach of the Year twice, as well as NCAA Division II National Coach of the Year in 2003. Under Hill's leadership, the K-State baseball team also won the 2003 NCAA National II Championships and the Big 12 Championship in 2013. On Tuesday, K-State baseball traveled to Kansas City's Kauffman Stadium, home of the Kansas City Royals. There they squared off against Arkansas in the National College Hall of Fame Classic and ultimately lost by a single run. The K-State baseball team will return to their home stadium tomorrow to face off against Abilene Christian at 6:30 p.m. Earlier last Sunday, a freshman on the K-State women's basketball team was arrested at Johnny Cause. Eternity Willock, 19, was charged with criminal trespass and liquor purchase by a minor, according to the Riley County Police Department's arrest report. She was taken to the Riley County Jail where she had a bond set at $800. K-State women's basketball coach Jeff Mitty released a statement acknowledging the situation. He said, "Until we have gathered and revealed all the facts, she will be suspended indefinitely from all basketball-related activities." That's all we have for sports this week. Back to Grant and Jacob at the desk.
Stay tuned for more Channel 8 news after the break.
Outreach is more than a goal. It's our land-grant mission. We feed and sustain an expanding population and cultivate strong, stable families, growing responsibility and leadership in our youth through a far-reaching network of research, resources, and educators. Whether you're in Kansas or across the globe, every life is worthy of an extended hand. What makes K-State Research and Extension so powerful? Purpose, outreach, you.
What a coach, what a program. Oh, they give him the dunks. He gets number 200. Now he's going to throw far side. Jordy's got it against the lead 40. Here comes Lockett. Look out. He can move. He was drilled by Reggie Walker. On the field, perfect throw. Pringle down the sideline. Touchdown.
The heart-pounding roar, a sea of purple, wielding twists and turns, a sincere smile and simple phrase. Legacies that span generations, blurring the line between fans and family. Believing we bleed a different color. Foundations defined by a single stone. That special place you love full well. What makes traditions unforgettable? Loyalty. Purple. You.
From shorts and t-shirts last week, back to grabbing a coat on the way out of the door.
What do we have to expect for the weather this weekend, Maya?
Well, you can expect a lot of rain and a lot of cold weather. So if you are going to be heading out this weekend, make sure you grab your jacket and grab your umbrella because you just don't know what to expect with this Kansas weather.
That's all the time we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in to Channel 8 News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at KSU Channel 8 News. Have a great rest of your week.